There are some hidden challenges for frontline supervisors, and there's a reason why employees with great technical expertise don't always have instant success when they become supervisors. We'll show you the signs of struggle that you should be looking for from your new or experienced supervisors, and you'll learn how to transform your Rockstar employees into Rockstar supervisors, all the things that could better your team's performance and drive more company success. Today, we're diving into something that's affecting industrial and trades-based companies everywhere: the hidden challenges that new and sometimes experienced frontline supervisors face. So let's picture this: a Rockstar employee, the one go-to person who just gets stuff done, just got promoted to supervisor. That's exciting, right? Well, here's the problem. The skills that made them a technically proficient employee don't automatically translate into great leadership skills. It's like asking someone who's great at sprint running to suddenly coach a marathon team. Oh, the running expertise is there, but the context is completely different. And this is why new and experienced supervisors find themselves struggling with challenges they've never faced before. They struggle with delegating tasks because, well, they don't want to come off as being too bossy. They struggle with constructive feedback because, well, now they're critiquing the work of the very people they used to work alongside. They struggle with motivating their team members because they soon figure out not everyone's motivated by the same thing. They struggle with handling conflicts, so they push those conflicts up to their bosses to solve. And then there's the production and safety issues. That's a whole new ballgame. Look, just because supervisors struggle with these issues doesn't mean they're not capable. It's just a new skill set they need to develop. So, what happens when supervisors struggle? Well, first, team morale can nosedive. Look, when supervisors lack their confidence or struggle to communicate, it creates an atmosphere of uncertainty and frustration. Crew members can end up feeling unsupported, undervalued, even confused about their roles and expectations. And poor morale leads to more absenteeism and turnover, and a general lack of engagement. Second, productivity is the next casualty. Supervisors who are unsure of themselves can end up creating bottlenecks in the workflows. Teams end up working inefficiently. They end up duplicating each other's efforts or focusing on the less important tasks. And that's when projects start to fall behind. Quality suffers, output decreases, and inconsistent productivity will hurt a company's bottom line and their market position. And then, well, there's safety. Safety can be compromised when supervisors just aren't equipped for their roles. A supervisor needs to be able to champion safety, to recognize potential hazards, and of course to be proactive. Supervisors without the proper training may miss those safety checks or mess up important safety information or just be slow to respond. It puts employees at risk and can lead to incidents, higher insurance premiums, legal liabilities. Look, you've got to be able to recognize that your supervisors are having challenges. It's the first step to overcoming them. You've got to be able to spot the signs of struggling supervisors. So, how can you spot a supervisor who might need support? Well, you might want to keep an eye out for these 5 signs. The first is having micromanager tendencies. That's when a supervisor tries to do all the work themselves because, well, that's what they were good at when you promoted them, right? They'll tend to default to what they know, but employees don't want their supervisors to do the work for them. They want the supervisor to teach them to be better and then get out of their way. People really do want to do a good job and work with a supervisor who gives them the skills, the tools, and the permission to go do it. The second thing to watch for is when supervisors avoid those difficult conversations. Look, your supervisors don't want to mess up, and they'll avoid jumping into the fray when 2 guys are arguing it out because without the skills to handle it, supervisors will not set themselves up to fail, and so they may turn their backs and pretend not to notice. The third sign is inconsistent rules enforcement, especially in safety. Look, to call someone out on a rule is creating conflict. And new supervisors don't want to look like the bad guy. In fact, they may be terrified by the thought of having to take on an employee with an intimidating personality, so they may just let it go to avoid the personal fallout. Now that sets up the fourth issue, regularly taking those difficult issues upstairs to higher management. When supervisors don't feel confident, they will take anything they're unsure of upstairs to their bosses. So now you've got employees on the ground with issues to deal with, and a supervisor who either doesn't know how to solve it or is afraid to solve it, and now new people in senior positions are having to help solve the issue. That's a lot of people involved in something that should be being handled by the supervisor. And the fifth, but by no means the very last issue, is higher team turnover rates. You know the old saying, an employee doesn't leave a company, they leave their boss? It's true. Employees want their supervisors to be good coaches, confident, consistent. When the supervisor lacks those skills, employees start looking for work someplace else, especially the good employees. Look, great companies can still lose good people because of an inexperienced or unsure supervisor. So let's say this, there are a certain set of skills that employees want their supervisors to have. And these 5 issues don't mean you have a bad supervisor. These are signs of a once great employee who now needs a whole lot more support in becoming an exceptional supervisor. Now, let's get to the exciting part, solutions. If you're a company leader, you have a whole toolbox of strategies available to support your supervisors. But here are the big 3. First, open up the communication. You know, most supervisors believe that you think they're just supposed to know how to do all this stuff. And a lot of supervisors are afraid to ask for help. They don't want to give you the impression that they don't have the skills, which obviously they don't. So start checking in regularly with them. You've got to create an environment where it's okay for supervisors to ask for help. Something more than just saying you have an open door policy. That's not helpful. You go to them, check in, see what's going on, ask them what they're struggling with. Tell them about how you struggled when you first became a supervisor, because you did struggle. Let them see your empathy and you'll knock down the communication barriers. Second, implement some kind of mentorship program. Pair a new supervisor with another supervisor or manager who's walked in their shoes. Besides, a new supervisor is probably more comfortable asking questions of someone who isn't their boss. A good mentor, though, is someone with the proper skills and the right demeanor, someone who can offer great advice and coaching. But be very careful about the people you pick to be mentors. You don't want to have to go back later to undo bad habits. You want the people being mentored to be your future mentors. So set them up for success. And third, provide leadership skills training. Look, the jump from top goal scorer to head coach is a huge leap, and one that requires a completely different set of skills. So consider enrolling your supervisors in the PeopleWork Supervisor Academy. It's our leadership boot camp for frontline supervisors who want to build trusting, loyal, and effective teams dedicated to doing the work safely and efficiently. So who do you consider for the Academy? Well, new supervisors, experienced, or anyone who may have their eye on being a team leader one day. The PeopleWork Supervisor Academy gives them the tools and support they need to fast-track their skills, saving your company years of frustrating trial and error. So why the PeopleWork Supervisor Academy? Well, in a word, microlearning. Microlearning has been proven to be the most effective way to get anyone up to speed on any topic inside a corporate environment. Microlearning is the complete opposite of the broken classroom learning model. Here are 4 reasons why classroom learning is broken. 1, it's expensive, especially when you have to bring people to a central location with the cost of travel, lodging, food, and those high-priced trainers. 2, it takes your people off the floor and out of service, but you know your supervisors are still trying to run things back at work from their cell phones on their classroom breaks, right? 3, you're force-feeding your supervisors with too much to learn in one sitting. And anything you teach them, they can't try any of it out, and there's no time to get used to a new idea before the next thing is pushed down onto them. And 4, it's highly ineffective. Look, you can reasonably expect that only 5 to 10% of the material will be remembered or used. That makes classroom learning up to 95% ineffective. But microlearning fixes these problems. Microlearning doesn't have 8 hours of learning in one day. Our PeopleWork Supervisor Microlearning program has under 10 minutes of learning, one idea only. Your people will watch one video, let the learning of one idea sink in, and then we will build on it tomorrow. In the PeopleWork Supervisor Academy, we've structured the learning over a much longer period of time to make sure the learning doesn't get lost, but it becomes like a building block. For the first 8 weeks of the program, we do daily learning. One video per day, one idea per day, under 10 minutes a day, and a once-a-week live coaching session on Zoom. So the first 8 weeks are daily learning. Then we switch to twice-weekly learning, 2 lessons a week, still under 10 minutes a day, combined with weekly live group coaching on Zoom, a privately hosted online community only for frontline supervisors, and even more stuff for a full 58-week program. Yes, we work with your supervisors for 58 weeks in no more than 10 minutes a day, building brick by brick, one idea at a time with a ton of support, coaching, and a network of other supervisors ready to support them as well. Now think about how much you would retain if you focused on learning just one thing a day in under 10 minutes a day for 58 weeks. Investing in the PeopleWork Supervisor Academy isn't about just fixing problems. It's about unlocking potential. You see, when supervisors are equipped with strong leadership skills, they become catalysts for positive change throughout the company. And you set your frontline supervisors up to create a pipeline of future company senior leaders. Supervisors will be set up to lead their teams today and the company tomorrow. So give your supervisors the skills they need to inspire their teams, to boost productivity and drive safety performance. Supervisors are the secret ingredient to a thriving company. It's like upgrading the engine in a high-performance car. Everything just runs smoother and more efficiently. Listen, the journey from technical expert to supervisor isn't always easy, but it's worth it, both for the supervisor and the company. You're setting everyone up for a win. Trust us, it's so worth it for your supervisors and your whole company. And with the right tools and a lot of coaching and TLC, every single one of your supervisors can transform into a leadership rock star. So why wait? Let's get your supervisors enrolled in the PeopleWork Supervisor Academy now.